thought that it would rain on a day like today. Hey, there's not a cloud in sight. It's as blue as your blue goodbye. And I thought that it would rain the day you went away.
And guys, I'm joined by the incredible Wendy Matthews. How you going, Wendy?
Good, thank you. Nice to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on, and lovely to meet you too. Thank you so much for coming on for a chat. It's amazing to have such an icon like yourself on how you're going with Jason Owen, eh? It's got a ring to it.
Thank you. Oh, nice.
No, it's lovely. Thank you so much. And how are you going?
Pretty good. I live on 10 acres in the country, and life is pretty dichotomous. When I'm not touring, I kind of hibernate anyway. So I've been practicing for this for quite some time.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty good. I just, it's interesting days of science fiction, really.
It is, and that's obviously one thing I was going to ask straight up is it's a very, very strange time at the moment, and many people have, everyone's in lockdown. I guess many jobs have been lost, many lives have been affected by everything. But
also,
I guess there's nothing sort of anyone can do about it. I guess we're doing the only thing that we can to stop the COVID-19 to spread.
Yes, exactly.
How are you coping through it all, Wendy? Are you
pretty good. I mean, generally quite well. I'm coping quite well. Ask me in another 4 months and I might have a different answer for you. But I really miss music, that's for sure. It'll be 6 months without performing and without that sort of communication with people, which is something that I've been doing for a long time. So I do miss that. But I think it's a huge exercise for all of us in just relinquishing control of everything and anything.
Yeah, it is absolutely, and I'm the same. I'm absolutely missing music left, right, and centre. We had a lot of shows locked in this year, and unfortunately they've all been pulled. And I seen that you guys were going out with the Good Times tour, and that was with Brian Cadd, Deborah Conway, yourself, Joe Camilleri, JPY, Kate Sobrano, Leo Sayer, Vicar and Linda Bull. I mean, that would have been a lot of fun as well. And
yeah,
you guys
absolutely.
have obviously postponed that, yeah.
And I was the new kid on the block. I was the only newie, so it's we're all affected by that and pretty disappointed about it. I was very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. So that was supposed to be during this time, was it, Wendy?
Yes, yeah. And it's been moved now to 2021. So I'll have to wait a while because all the others are telling me what great fun it is. So, that was a big disappointment.
I know a lot of people that were looking forward to going to that, actually.
Yes.
So a lot of people would have been a phenomenal show. I was one of them. I was coming. I was going to Newcastle.
Oh.
But that's all right. We'll be there in 2021.
Exactly. It will happen eventually, just not when we thought.
Absolutely. Wendy, you've had an absolutely phenomenal career. You're one amazing woman, and I'm someone that I look up to in the music industry. And I'm actually quite a bit blown away that you're sitting here on my screen right now.
Oh, thank you.
It's amazing. And you've won 6 ARIA awards. 7 ARIA awards you've won.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't take one away from you. Far out.
They're very resilient things. They hold up the shelves in the cactus garden over there.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. You won 7 of them. You're known for Token Angels, The Day You Went Away, Friday's Child, numerous songs. You've had an absolutely phenomenal career. Do you still pinch yourself today?
I still feel very fortunate to be singing, and I mean it's my form of creativity and communication. So yes, it's still very important for me, and I'm lucky enough to still be working.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like I've spoken to a lot of musicians and entertainers, television hosts, and that on the show, and that's one thing everyone says. You have a dream, you want to become something, whether it's a doctor or tennis
Yeah.
player or a musician, singer, whatever it might be, and all of a sudden you're given the opportunity, and then it can be taken away just as quick as you're given it. And it's amazing to see people like yourself that have been in the industry for so long. It just gives everyone hope, like myself.
Yeah.
If we just keep working and persevere with ups and downs, because we're going to get a lot of that along the road too, Wendy, aren't we?
Exactly. And always, nothing happens overnight. It's a lifestyle. It's as opposed to a job really. So and as I say, well, I think I kind of came through and up at a very fortunate time. It's different days now, and I really feel for all these incredibly talented kids that there's not all that sort of longevity and outlets really for music and performing. So I feel extremely grateful.
Yeah, good on you. No, absolutely. You were born in Canada,
Mm.
and you moved from Canada when you were 16 years old, and you went.
Well,
Am I right?
I went busking one weekend with 3 friends. We were all musicians, and we busked across Canada and into the States and found ourselves on the streets of Mexico with not a lot of area to busk in. And consequently, I met some people and ended up in Los Angeles, which is actually somewhere I didn't want to go. But so ironically, I ended up there for a good 7 years, and I was a backing singer for a lot of people, and things just kind of took their course, I suppose.
Wow. So when did you come to Australia?
82, I believe. I was living in Los Angeles in a house full of Australians. We shared a big house in Laurel Canyon, and I guess through those people, I met somebody called Glenn Shark from the Little River Band. They took me to a big concert at the Greek Theater in LA. And there was this fantastic band, and afterwards we were all just meeting up and talking. And within an hour, I used to have this white Volkswagen that needed to be push started in my poverty days. And I suppose I was about 18. And within a couple of hours of the concert, there was Glenn Sharp pushing my car to pop start it. And as it careered down the hill, he jumped in the passenger seat and said, "Great, where are we going?"
Oh,
And,
really?
we've been great friends ever since, and he brought me down here to do a tour. And I met some wonderful people and realized there was a very wonderful life outside LA.
Yeah.
And I've been here ever since.
Wow.
This
Wow.
is where my home and my friends and my work and everything else is. When I
Yeah.
go back to Canada these days, I do feel like a bit of a tourist.
Yeah, and all those incredible hits since you came to Australia.
Yeah. Yes, I was very lucky enough to work with some great people, and things kind of happened rather quickly.
Wow, it's amazing. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I've seen online that you work with Cher, Rod Stewart, Sarah McLachlan. I did a bit of research to have a look in because I wanted to find some great stuff to ask you and talk to you about. And
Oh,
is that true?
nice. Yes, I was. Rod Stewart did a series of albums called The Great American Songbook, and it was. I mean, I'd met him before, but this was when I lived here. He sent the tracks, and I would go into the studio and do my half of the duet. And he's a lovely guy. He got back to us a few times and said, "No, higher in the mix. Come on, put yourself up there." And Sarah McLachlan I knew from Canada. So when she came out here to do a few tours, I supported, we opened for her.
Yeah.
We used to go swimming at my place in Bondi. And Cher I worked with for quite a few years because I did something in LA called Ghost Vocals. And one of the producers that used to hire me for this was a guy called Peter Asher. And he was producing Linda Ronstadt and James Taylor and all sorts of wonderful folks at the
Wow.
time. And the ghost vocals are when you go into the studio and you get to do the fun part. You get to record somebody's entire album with the band, with Andrew Gold and all these amazing players. And then when she was finished her film, she came into the studio, Cher, and basically you put the headphones on, you sing along with what happened to be me at the time. And then my vocals are taken down and hers are kept up. And that was her album, which I sometimes hear when I'm shopping in Woolworths. And I think, wait a minute, is that me? I hear some familiar inflections, but it's Cher's album.
Yeah, so you sang on her album.
Yes, I did a couple of albums for her. I did that something about Jesse James. I'm not very good at that, remembering that stuff, but yes, I was ghost vocaling on a couple of her albums.
Just like Jesse James. That's a great song.
Yeah, that's it.
You're on that track.
Yeah, I did the whole album. I got to record with the band and with Peter Asher, and it's a very strange concept. It's for very busy singers who can't make their own album until later.
So can you remember the title of that album, Wendy? It wasn't Heart of Stone or something like that, was it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's a huge record, massive.
Yeah, I did all those tracks that she sort of put the headphones on and sung along with, and then I was taken off, or not off, but just way down.
Yeah.
And that ended up being that album. Yeah.
That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. And many people remember seeing you on It Takes Two as well.
Yes.
That was a few years ago now.
That was a bit of frothy fun, really. I got some interesting partners like Russell Gilbert, who wonderful singer, but he couldn't count to 4 to save himself. So that was an interesting experience. That was a lot of fun, actually.
Did you? Was Troy Casadale? Was he on with you?
Yeah.
One of those years.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a couple of duets because sometimes the mentors got to sing a few songs together. So I've known Troy for a long time.
Wow, that's amazing. Absolutely. Well, many people who remember that, Wendy, no doubt.
I actually loved him years and years ago when I was first starting to tour, and I used to ask him to open up for us a lot. So we go way back, actually.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. Wendy, what do you reckon you're missing the most with all this that's happening at the moment? Things are starting to slowly get lifted. I miss touring. I miss getting out and being able to get into the studio and stuff like that with the producers and musos and write and record and all that. I miss that. And no doubt you miss the music as well. But what would be the biggest thing at the moment you reckon you're missing? Music?
The music, really, and seeing my band, who have been with me for probably almost 30 years, some of them. So I miss them. I miss the camaraderie of being on the road. I miss performing because that's my way of communicating with people. But to be honest, not a lot else has changed. As I say, I live in the country way out there. So when I'm home by myself and not touring, not a whole lot has changed in that way.
Okay, yeah, great. Wendy, at the end of every chat, I usually just ask a few questions. They're called curious questions. And before I go any further, I just want to say thank you yet again for coming on, because this is pretty surreal for me. Like I've only been in the game for about 8 years, and to have people like yourself come on and have a chat, and we can ask advice too about the industry. And as you said, things are a lot different now, but still you've been through it all before, and it's amazing to get opinions and speak to people like yourself that have just had, huge careers. So thank you.
Oh, lovely. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Not
a problem in the world. How have you been able to maintain motivation during this whole, the isolation?
I've just been going for long walks. I make jewelry, so I've been making a lot of jewelry. I think I've been traveling vicariously through books. I've been reading a lot, also get lots of books on Audible. It's, to me, the most important thing at the moment is for us all to keep our brains busy. I'm trying to stay off social media because there are a lot of frustrated and angry people out there who are having a bit of a hard time with isolation. And I get a little sensitive during that stuff. So it's really just keeping my mind busy and still being curious, I suppose.
Good on you, yeah. Well, that's great, because I like to ask everyone that, because people at home, it's just great, because I think this is a time, Wendy, where people, I feel, mental health is a big thing. Because,
I agree. it's a very confronting time, isolation. You know, we don't often spend a whole lot of time alone with ourselves, and I think it's really difficult for a lot of people, and I understand that.
Yeah. Who would be one of your biggest inspirations, either in your life or through your career or just things in general?
I've got to say Joni Mitchell. I'm reading her autobiography at the moment. And as a painter, as a poet, as a singer, and just the way she's lived her life, she's somebody I greatly admire and always will. I think she's a great role model for men and women alike, really. Gosh, my mother.
Yeah.
My mother's 86 and she's had a yoga center for years. And even though she and I lead very different lives, she still teaches 8 classes a week. And, you know, that sort of motivation and curiosity in life, I find very inspiring.
Yeah, that's incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What would you say one of your biggest highlights would be, Wendy? I know you've had a lot throughout your career and that, but have you got anything that stood out to you that's something you'll never forget throughout your incredible career?
So many things. I mean, you know, we toured through Europe for years and years and had some extraordinary adventures, and every one of them is something that I treasure. But I think generally, it's the opportunity to travel that I may not have gotten otherwise if I didn't do what I do. So I think the opportunity to travel the world and see some extraordinary places and the way people live differently and how they do things has been a great eye-opener for me.
Wow, yeah. And just one more for the people at home, Wendy. Who would be one of the most interesting celebrities you've ever met? And what made them interesting?
Strangely enough, I had a friend who was very, very close to Jack Nicholson, the actor in Los Angeles. And through her, I got to do some amazing stuff. He used to call up the Los Angeles Police Department at 3:00 in the morning when we were over there, and he'd say, he loves art and he's a great collector. So he used to say, open up the LA County Museum. We want to go roller skating. So we would all strap on our roller skates and get a police escort downtown to the Los Angeles County Museum and look at the art and roller skate and have wonderful conversations. And he was a very interesting and strange guy. And I got to do some amazing things that, again, I never, ever would have through anybody else. And again, I'll treasure those memories forever.
Such a big actor.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, Wendy. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. That's incredible. Really appreciate it. And yeah, once again, and all the viewers at home, you know, we're so very lucky to have you on here. And thank you so much yet again. We really appreciate it. And you take care of yourself during this. And you know, as you know, everything's starting to slowly lift and get moving again. And there's always light at the end of the tunnel for everybody, isn't there, Wendy?
Yeah, exactly. And it is, I think through all this, even though it's isolation, there's a real sense of community and, you know, the fact that we're all in this together. So, yeah, we got to look after our loved ones, I suppose.
We do, Wendy. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Nice to talk to you.
You too. Thank you so much. See you, Wendy.
Bye.